I'm your huckleberry.
This is the Smoking Guns Podcast.
No G, with a Z, POD, Smoking Guns Podcast on a Monday night, ready to talk all about the San Antonio Gunslingers. We are a podcast that deals with professional football in San Antonio, specifically the San Antonio Gunslingers of the Indoor Football League. My name is Philip Higginbotham. I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, my buddy, the guy who watches game film and takes notes all the way through his workday. Or not at work. He doesn't do it at work. Leo Yamas. Leo, how you doing?
What's up, Smoking Guns Posse? Philip throwing me under the bus there a little bit.
We will be joined by RC Woods a little later in the show. She is stuck in some traffic, we think. She was making her way home and told us that she might not be able to make it in right at the beginning of the show because of traffic. So she will be with us shortly. If you're wondering where RC is, she'll be here. Got some folks checking in already. James Palmer, Mo checking in, Weston checking in. If you're out there, let us know you're watching and with us live as we dive in to a football game, a football experience. It wasn't just a game. We always like to talk about the experience. I want to wait on the experience for a few minutes. We'll talk football because I know RC is going to have lots to say about the experience itself, and I think we can jump right into the football and save the fun talk for her when she's here. Jay Washington checking in. Hey, Jay, how are you? Tina Meyer-Sadad.
Hey, Jay, Tina.
I got your friend request today. I wasn't sure I'd get one, but I got one. Thank you. Thanks so much. Let's talk a little football. The San Antonio Gunslingers fall to the Vegas Nighthawks, 28-35, in a game that at times was a lot of fun, but on a whole, just felt pretty pedestrian. I felt like we had it in the first half. I felt like it kind of got away from us in the second half. I think it got away from us at a very specific point in the second half, but shouldn't have. And I want to talk a little bit about that. Nolan checking in from the Rangers game. Guns up, Nolan, and go Rangers. Big fan of my Rangers there. James Palmer says Guy got robbed to the win. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Ralph Judkins checking in. Good evening. Coach Q, Quentin Humphrey. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Chase Risman. Is it that Malik Henry was injured after the Tulsa game or was benched? He was not injured. I'll say that. I'll say that he was pulled in the midst of the Tulsa and that he was released this week. And we went with a new QB1, which is probably, Leo, just as good a place to start as anywhere. Let's talk a little bit about Guy Myers. Lots of discussion last week. If you were here with us on the show, both live or if you checked in on the recording of the show, you will know that I said I am done. I've seen what I need to see from Malik Henry, and we have to move on.
You did.
And sure enough, Wednesday, the decision was made to give Malik Henry his opportunity to go elsewhere. They released him, which meant we were definitely going to get a new quarterback one. And then that's where all the conversation started. So they signed Zach Reeder. Zach Reeder is a 2-year guy in the Indoor Football League. He's played for the Iowa Barnstormers, but they brought him in midweek, and the game is on Saturday. I think it would have said a lot, Leo, if they walked out there with Zach Reeder, a guy that they brought in midweek, and started him at quarterback. That's not helpful for anybody. That's not what anybody wants. And so Guy got his opportunity. And we talked last week about how it was time to see what Guy could do. And I think we did. I think we saw Guy. It wasn't a win. And, you know, that is what it is. But we also saw how Guy does some things different. How Guy is a little different quarterback, certainly, than Malik Henry. In fact, I said to a couple of people on Saturday night, and then since then, Guy is almost the anti-Malik Henry. There are times with Malik Henry that I wanted him to just pull down the ball and run, use your feet, and get what you can get.
He's not doing that.
Malik's not doing that.
No,
He made that clear. On the flip side, this time out, it felt like Guy was ready to get out of the pocket if he had to and get yards with his feet, with his legs. He is a powerful guy. He's a long, lanky, powerful runner. I heard that somewhere. And and he was able to get some yards with his feet, which is good because I don't know about our protection scheme. I think we need a lot of work up front right now. I think
man, do we?
You might be up front. I made the joke as we started the show that you watched game tape and took notes. The thing that you sent me was protection. Protection seems to be an issue, doesn't it, Leo?
Oh, yeah. In this game, most definitely. I mean, I think that was the biggest issue of this game, was the protection. So, that affects your quarterback play in a big way.
A lot. Yeah.
This is what I learned. I'm going to cut to the chase here for myself. What I learned about Guy Myers in this game.
Okay.
We already knew he could run. I mean, we'd seen some glimpses when they actually put him in packages and goal lines and that. We knew he could run. I didn't know he could run that well. I didn't know he was, I knew he was kind of a gritty, heart, played with a lot of heart.
Right.
And we definitely saw that. We saw that he can lead by example. He's gritty, he's tough, he can get his shoulder down, his head down, and take the best hits. We don't necessarily want our quarterback doing that. But what I learned about him that I had no idea was just how athletic he is. I mean, there were situations where there were guys in his face on him and he was able to elude tackles, or when he wasn't able to elude the tackle, he was able to get the ball away. I mean, there's one play that didn't count because there were penalties on the defense, so we ended up converting, but was a for sure sack, I thought. And I still don't know, after watching that play 3, 4, 5 times, how the heck did he get rid of that ball? But he got rid of it effectively, so to not take the loss had there not been a penalty. I was very impressed with his grittiness and his athleticism. Now, as far as him throwing the ball, we see Tina, she said he can throw too.
Yep.
And if you look at his stats, thanks IFL, no stats for the game.
No stats this week. Thanks IFL.
So as far as his stat line throwing, I know he was a high percentage of completion rate far as how many balls he threw. I don't think he threw enough as we would like him to, but I'm not sure how much of that's his fault. No, exactly.
Like, you got to be able to set your feet and throw, and I don't know that he got a chance to do that very much.
That's where I'm getting at, is like, I know a lot of the plays were designed runs, and some of them definitely weren't, and he just had to, make lemonade out of lemons and do what he could, and some of those he took all the way to the house.
Yep.
But without the protection, without being able to get comfortable in the pocket, that's still the unknown. That's still what we haven't been able to see from him. And I would love to see more of that. But in order to do that, we got to fix some things in that line, that offensive line, because the amount of pressures. You're right, Philip. I went and looked at the tape, and I went each offensive possession and took count. I took count play by play. I didn't count plays that were penalties that didn't resulted in the down over. But if the penalty got declined and the play stood, I did count those. And there was a very, very high percentage, high rate of pressures where I did XYZ across left tackle, center, right tackle, and then F was a free blitzer. And for each play, I wrote the play for each drive, and then wrote XYZ for each play for the play number on where that pressure was coming from. And I'm not going to single anybody out on the show, but there were definitely at least one guy that's definitely a lot more responsible than some of the others.
Yep.
It's got to get fixed. I don't know how we can have, or expect our quarterback to be successful when the offensive line is not giving them the time they need to get comfortable and run the offense.
Yeah, I agree. And the protection issue, while not something I've really noted before, may also explain some of my issues with Malik Henry. My issue with Malik Henry was he was picking his target before the ball was snapped, locking in on that and throwing there. And I even likened it to the way a 13-year-old plays Madden. I'm throwing to X no matter what happens. But in hindsight, looking at protection now, I go, wouldn't you have to do that as a quarterback that is set on using your arm, which is where Malik was? He is set on, I'm going to throw the ball. If you know you don't have a lot of time and you are dead set that you're going to throw the ball, you got to know where you're going with it as soon as the ball's snapped. So that may even be like part of the issue that we had with the offense. I think protection is something we really have to be looking at. And to be fair, Coach Quentin Humphrey, former San Antonio Gunslinger head coach, has been banging that drum most of the season and telling us that protection is a problem. I think it just may have gotten masked a little better up until this point, but it was clear to me that guy just doesn't have the time he needs. Any quarterback. I mean, it doesn't matter who you put back. We get Sam Castronova back. In fact, he was back in the building on Saturday night.
He was.
You get Sam Castronova back there. I'm not sure how much he could do when you don't give him any time.
It's tough. You're running for your life back there. Before the play develops, you got guys bull rushing and pushing your guys back into the backfield, or just coming scot-free. And you gotta and a guy being as good a runner as he is, of course he's gonna just tuck the ball away and get the yards that he can. That's what he's gonna do.
I'll get to that in a minute, Joe. Joe Ochoa asking a question I want to get to in a minute. The problem now becomes, as we're joined by RC Woods, she gets out of traffic and finally deigns to join us and share. RC, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
The problem becomes, Leo, RC, we're talking about Guy Myers and the game that he had. He did not have a lot of protection, but he did what he could with the time he had. That's kind of where we're at. The problem now, Leo, becomes that if it was obvious to you and I, it was also obvious to everyone in the IFL. And if we don't do something to fix this problem, they're going to redouble their efforts. They're going to get to the quarterback even faster, no matter who that quarterback is, unless we fix something along our protection. Like, this is only going to get worse now that it's obvious that this is the problem.
Yes.
That's going to
Somebody asked me why I'm wearing camouflage.
Okay, RC, why are you wearing camouflage?
Because the hunt is on to figure out what we need to do to win a game.
There you go.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out.
Joe Ochoa asking a couple of questions. I'll start with the last one he asked, and then the next one. Did Corpus fold already? Not as far as I know. I have not seen anything to that effect today. He asks, is Sam coming back? No. Sam was in town with the Albany Firebirds. In town is a relative term. He was in South Texas with the Albany Firebirds. He played a series against Corpus in Albany's 100-12 defeat of the Corpus Christi Tritons, and stayed behind and came over to Freeman the next night to see a game with his old team. He was there. I got a chance to talk to him. Leo, I know you talked to him. RC, Did you talk to Sam?
I did not.
Okay. So Sam Castronova, there it is.
Love it.
And he is with Albany, and he is happy with Albany, and they are undefeated in the IF1, in the AF1, or whatever that league is that they're part of. And so that's why he was in the building. He's not coming back to the Gunslingers. We have Guy Myers, we have Zach Reeder, and those are our quarterbacks. Back around to Guy and the game as a whole. The two things I think Guy needs are two things that I don't know that we have to give him. He needs time with this team as the quarterback one to get into the rhythm of being quarterback one. Problem is we don't have time. We are 1-4. We have to start winning games. We have to start winning games right now. Well, the other thing he needs is protection in the pocket, and we apparently don't have that to give him either. So the two things I know will help make him more successful, I don't think we can give right now.
But I would counter that with those two things are the exact same two things we won't be able to give anybody else.
Any quarterback. Yeah. Again, you go get Sam Castronova and you talk him out of Albany, he's going to have just the same kind of issues as any other quarterback, because this is not something you can just paper over. Protection is important, and we have to fix the protection issue. Weston saying 1 extra second of protection makes a huge difference. Guys, in Guy's ability to see the open receiver. That is 100% correct. Mm-hmm. An extra second is a big deal.
Yeah. I've seen some criticisms out there, or some observations, I won't call it a criticism, about, Guy hasn't exhibited seeing the field, going through the progression. And yeah, it hasn't been exhibited, but that's the point we're making, is he hasn't had the opportunity to show his ability to do that because he simply hasn't had the time.
Right.
If you go back and you look closely and you watch the play and you watch the line, you will see what we're talking about.
Moving back to Sam Castronova real quickly, Joe Ochoa, dang, how did we let him go? We have 3 quarterbacks in camp that were better than Sam Castronova, I heard. So there's that.
I think he wanted to be closer to his family, to be honest. He was very much a family man.
Yeah, he definitely wanted to be. It was rough for him to be down here for the whole time of the season last year. So it is what it is.
I see Kevin Lewis's comment there. Interception before half was a danger. It was, and that's the one thing. That's the one thing. If you're going to knock Guy on this game at all, that play, there wasn't a whole lot of pressure. It was just a bad decision. He was trying to make something happen, but it was a bad decision.
But
I'm sure that's one he wished he could take back.
You're right. Every quarterback has those moments in a game.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he had 1 interception that was a bad decision, whereas Malik Henry had 2 a game. So we got better. We improved at the quarterback position just by bringing Guy in. I don't think I think I will leave it to the coaches that are in the room every day and on the field with these guys over the next few weeks. Whoever they tell me, and I think it will be Guy, will be the better opportunity to win the game in Vegas in 2 weeks. I'm just going to have to believe them. I'm going to have to trust them. I did not see anything that made me feel like Guy cannot do it. I think he absolutely can. But he also, he wasn't able to, he did not have the opportunity to show enough to lock it in either. Let me say it that way. Mm-hmm. James Palmer, Henry had wide open guys and still threw interceptions. True. Not wrong. Weston Cologne, the veteran rule doesn't allow us to keep the same guys year after year. Oh, that's a reference to David Oliveira, which, hey, David, it's good to see you.
Hi, David.
Been a while, yeah.
Too many new people drafting new people every season. These guys don't work together. That's a problem. And unfortunately, part of the system of indoor football is that there's a lot of movement year from year, and nobody, David, knows that better than you do. You've been around this long enough to know that the movement is one of those things that we just have to deal with. Mass Bandit of San Antonio, just tuning in. Love what I saw from Guy. He made a few mistakes, but I think he was pretty decent and relevant this past Saturday. True. Alex McSwain, in Guy's defense, I've seen every quarterback who's played for the Gunslingers have bad interceptions, including Sam. I've seen every quarterback I've ever watched play the game have bad interceptions. Like, they happen. Sam was one of those guys that limited the amount of turnovers. Like, he just has this ability to do that year over year. He just does not turn the ball over, but he is an outlier, and even he had his times where mistakes get made. Like, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Tina, how about penalties called back, guys runs, and the touchdown to tie the game? I want to talk a lot about this touchdown to tie the game. Is it time to do that here? Or
we can.
Do we want to do that here?
You know, I got something to say on that.
The touchdown that tied the game, if you've watched the broadcast, you know right where I'm going, because Ralph and I were incensed that the touchdown that tied the game the play never should have happened. It should have been whistled dead as soon as the ball was snapped, because Vegas had 3 men in motion, all moving toward the line of scrimmage. That's illegal. That period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. That is an illegal offense. That is too many men in motion. That is a false start. That is any way you want to call it. The play is dead right there. And there are 5 officials on the field, and all of them are in a position to catch that. James hasn't seen the mug yet, and he's getting nervous, Leo.
Uh-oh.
I don't have the mug today. It's
We have to start
it's
a
on
new
a 2-game.
ritual.
It's on a 2-game losing streak. I got my tea though.
True.
I got my tea, just not the Batman mug.
Some things I want to bring up about this 3 men in motion. I immediately had some folks tell me that this was James Fuller's fault because he did not challenge the play. If it's that egregious and that bad, he should have challenged the play, and then they would have overturned the decision, and we would live on to play another play. And in most cases, Leo, RC, I would agree. Like, that's what you have a challenge for. Yeah, you challenge it. Here's my problem in this particular situation. There should be no need for a challenge. This is basics. This is pre-snap. It's not in the midst of the game. It's not, they had a bad angle on it, and we need to go to the video to get a better angle on whether he held on to the ball across the goal line. This is not something that should be fixed with a challenge. There is no reason whatsoever the officials missed this call. None. You can't convince me that this is one of those things that, the coach should have challenged. He shouldn't have to challenge. This is not a thing he should ever have to challenge. No coach in the indoor football league should ever challenge that there are 3 men in motion on the offense at the beginning of the play. Ever. That should never, ever, 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 ever be a challenge. Period. Don't come at me and say the coach should have challenged. No, he shouldn't have. The refs, 1 of 5 refs should have said, hey, that's not right, and thrown a flag and stopped the play. Don't come at me with the coach made a mistake not challenging. Now, that being said, does he have a challenge available? Sure. Could he have challenged and won? Absolutely. It was there.
I wished he had.
So why didn't he, Leo? I asked James Fuller this question. I texted him yesterday and I said, why? Why did we not challenge him? I'm not questioning you. I just need to know what the thought process was or what the reasoning was. And he said, man, There just wasn't enough time. There wasn't enough time for me to verify on video and get the challenge in. And so today, when I sat down with the game and did some show prep, I timed out how long between the foul and the next snap, which is the 2-point conversion. Leo, RC, how long do you think it would take to take a look at a video real quick, verify that what you saw is what you thought you saw is what you saw, and challenge a play? If that's what you needed to do, if that's what your process was, how long would you need to do that? Bare minimum, how long would you need to do that?
Seconds?
20 seconds.
Really? You'd need you would be able to pull up the video and decide you wanted to challenge within 20 seconds?
You said bare minimum. I'm saying at least 20 seconds. If they have it ready for you to see it, if they have it ready for you to see it and to see it, bare minimum 20 seconds, but that, it's not going to be ready. So you said bare minimum, but I'm saying at least 20 seconds and probably more.
A minute?
I would say a minute is like I got to get the iPad. I got to take a look at it. It's going to take a second. Vegas, from the moment the penalty occurred, 3 men started toward the line of scrimmage. They scored, they ran the play, scored a touchdown, celebrated a touchdown, lined up, and snapped the ball for the 2-point conversion in 44 seconds. They knew that they had screwed up, and they were trying to get that ball off as quickly as they could.
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And they did it. And all hell Mike Davis. Great job to Vegas head coach Mike Davis. Like, you did what you needed to do because you knew there was a problem and you got your team to the line and staffed the ball. But when James Fuller says, hey, I just didn't have time, I see what he's talking about. Now, the thing I have not said to James Fuller, because it's not my job to tell him how to coach or tell him how to do his job. But it is my job as a fan and as a host on this show, one of the hosts on this show, to make my opinion known. And I will say this to Coach Fuller. Next time a situation comes up where 3 to 4 of your players are emphatically telling you that something was wrong and you need to challenge, you might lose, but you're still gonna gain some credit with your players and with your guys to just challenge, because you had 3 or 4 of them telling you exactly what the problem was.
You could hear them on the broadcast. You could see them. They were telling them. They saw it. Yeah.
James Palmer. So the ref screwed up again. What a shocker.
What a shocker.
Mass Bandit said he should have challenged it. We had a chance of winning the game too. We were close to tasting victory, but the refs were bad. Here's the thing. Here's what I want everybody to hear. No matter how worked up you are over a stupid penalty that there is absolutely no reason you should ever have to use a challenge on, because every official in the place should have a view of that. That's not why we lost the game. We didn't lose the game over one call.
Right.
It just didn't happen that way. Like, we had a whole another quarter and a half past that.
We lost the game over 2 calls. There was another one.
What's funny is I went back and watched it today, and there are 2 really bad, what I view as fairly bad calls against the Gunslingers that were right together. One of them was this pass interference along the boards on the away from the broadcast booth, the other side from the far side from the broadcast booth. That happened 2 plays before the 3 men in motion.
Yeah.
I watched it today, and I've gone back and forth on whether this is pass interference a couple times.
It was.
I watched it today. You think it was?
I think it was. From my angle at the game, it was. I turned to the guy next to me and I said, I hate it too, because people were booing. I was like, but it was the right call. It was pass interference.
James Palmer says, I think their feet got tangled up.
They did. But this is the difference. This is what happened. You want to make your point first, and I'll tell you what I saw from standing on the opposite end zone.
Here's what I see on the video. And it's not great video because it's all the way up at the top of the frame, so it's a little hard but I see a defender squared up to a receiver and a receiver that tries to put his forearm into the defender to push past him, and then they get tangled up and fall down together. That's not pass interference. The receiver initiates the contact. I watched this a couple of times, and from what I can tell, the receiver put his forearm into our player, into the defender, and then they both go tumbling over. He initiated the contact. That's what it looked like to me.
That's not what happened. That you were right until you said, and then they both went tumbling over. What happened was, you're right. They had the contact. The contact was initiated by the receiver, and the defensive back 23, I think is it Miller? He took the worst of the contact. So he falling back into the wall. You know what he does? The receiver is falling away. They're doing this as they're falling, right?
Okay.
So the receiver's falling forward. He's falling backward into the wall. The receiver has a chance to get his feet under him as he's falling, because he's falling forward. He's falling back. And what he does as he's falling back, he reaches up. I saw it clearly.
Okay.
I saw it. He reaches up, grabs the receiver's arm, jersey right here, and pulls it down with him. He's like, if I'm falling, you're falling with me. Now, that's the thing that you don't get in the camera angle from the broadcast, but I saw standing in the end zone, and I was standing right in front of the referee who threw the flag. He reaches up and pulls him down with him. If he doesn't reach up and pull him, then it's a no call. Then there is no pass interference. But because he pulled him to change the receiver's momentum to fall back with him into the wall, that's why the flag was thrown. I don't like it, obviously. I'm always for the Gunslingers. I'm a Gunslingers fan, but I understand why he threw the flag.
But let's take the team names off of the jerseys. Let's take the logos off the helmet. If receiver initiates contact with defender and that contact ends up meaning that the receiver can't get to the ball, that's not pass interference. You initiated this whole thing. You started the ball rolling here.
And it would be a non-call. It would be a non-call, but he reached up and grabbed him as he fell.
Now,
That's what the call was, because he reached up and pulled him down.
The one thing I will not hear on this particular play is that it was an uncatchable ball. Look, folks, I think Naquan Murray can make that catch. And if I think Naquan Murray can make that catch, then I have to apply that standard to every receiver in the league. Because if I think the best receiver in the league can make that catch, then it's a catchable ball. So I can't hear that it wasn't a catchable ball. I think it's catchable. I think it's going to be a heck of a catch, but I think it's catchable. But what I see is a receiver initiating contact, and from that point, all bets are off. You started this. And if you can't handle where it goes from there, that's on you. That's not on the receiver. But I have a very different opinion on what pass interference should and should not be. So,
and you both have very different angles.
Yeah, we're at very different angles of what we see. You're right. But Jordan Stubing, the underlying point is we have these issues with bull spit calls every single game. Home, away. It's discouraging. Can we just have a straightforward game where we don't feel screwed in the end?
I totally get that. But that's not the call that irks me.
Okay, which call irks you?
The other call that irks me, where I said there were two plays that cost us the game, was the one I think Tina was talking about that earlier. The play where a guy scrambles to the right down the sideline, the right wall, and actually scored a touchdown. Yes, and everybody's celebrating, and nobody realizes that a flag was thrown, and they call holding on 55.
Yep.
And then it just took the wind out of the sails. Now I watched that play over and over and over again. And the thing is, Burrell, number 55, the right tackle, his guy comes, and the run goes to the right, guy's taking off, and he's engaging him, and he's inside his shoulder pad. He's inside his shoulder pad, and he's pushing him to carry his momentum away from his guys rounding the corner. And then as he does that, the defender slides and his momentum puts him more towards the center of the field. Guy's already gone.
Right.
Like he's this guy's ain't going to catch him. And as he does that, Burrell gets pushed back. And as he pushes back, he grabs him by the jersey. It's really hard to see, but you can see it in the replay angle where down from the field, that angle. You could see him grab the guy's jersey as he's falling back. And I thought he let it go too quick, and I was like, there's no way that's holding. But after watching it 3 or 4 times, I was like, okay, maybe he held the jersey just a little bit too long. But the thing is, it's the play is already past that. It's and the situation that it's in, if you're an official in that situation, it's a no call, man. You don't call that because it didn't affect the play. It was minimal. It was there, yes, if you want to be ticky-tack, but there's holding every single play. I mean, that's going to happen.
We know
that's just one of those things in a situation like that late in the game. That was a tying score for the Gunslingers, tying there when they're down 35-28. That would have tied the game 35 all with a little under 2 minutes left in the game. And they called it back. And then we ended up turning over on downs. That's the call that really irked me because I'm like, really? That ticky-tack little thing, yes, it was there, but you're going to call that ticky-tack foul penalty on a situation like that when you let guys get away with big-time pass interference, not the call we were talking about earlier, but they let them play through those situations. That kind of is me on the same thing. You don't make that call. That's a call you're not going to make. You shouldn't be making.
Kevin Lewis, offense.
Are not consistent, and that's what I don't like. And they have really affected the outcomes of the games.
Kevin Lewis, offense altogether too predictable, too easy to defend. Defenses seem to be ready for everything we throw at them. Receiver routes seem to have too many dead routes. Players running decoy instead of challenging the defense. I think some of that may simply be I think you can put some of that on a lack of on a difficulty in protection because you don't have time to do anything complicated or anything real if you don't have a lot of time in the pocket. There's no time for anything to develop. It's got to be something quick. It's got to happen. I'm on this kick now. I may be wrong, but I'm on this kick where I think fixing our protection could fix a lot of things that are wrong with our offense. And our defense is still playing fairly well. Like they're not giving up what they were giving up last year at this time. And so they're playing fairly well. I think the problems are on the offensive side of the ball, and we got to get better at protection. We just do.
The protection for me is the biggest issue on this team right now. Earlier, Quentin Humphrey asked about what we think of the chemistry of this team, and I think the chemistry is. I mean, it's a work in progress. It's got to be. You got a new starting quarterback. You got an O-line that's trying to make it work, but you have a retooled defense because you've lost some major pieces there, whether it's because you had to release them or through injury. Right. You had a coaching change. You've had all this stuff happen to this team in the first 4 weeks of the season. And it's like starting over almost. So it's a huge disadvantage for us, unfortunately. But it's like starting over. So you can't really expect the chemistry to be there just yet. It's a work in progress. I mean, we just got to deal with it. We just got to buckle down and deal with it. These guys got to just get better. They got to play for each other. They got to dig in. I see some comments about effort. I mean, I'm not going to say there's low effort. I was much prouder of how of their level of effort this game than last game. Last game I thought was atrocious, but this game I thought was way better, leagues better. So there's some encouraging things there. I was disheartened by the loss. I was frustrated with the loss, but this week compared to last week, I'll take this week anytime.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Coaching issue a player issue or a skill issue,
Yes.
or a combination of all three?
No, wait. I'm sorry. That's not fair. It's not a skill issue. We have talented players all over the field. Like, I don't think it's a skill issue. And when you say a coaching issue, I don't think it is bad coaching. I just think it is a coaching change. Look, changing your coaches at the beginning of the season is not ideal. It's just not. And we have yet to figure out what our identity is under a new coaching staff. And that takes time. And that's why coaching changes are usually made in the offseason, so that you have this time to develop who your team is. It is hard to do this midstream. It's not impossible. It can happen. It will happen. And what's nice about all of this, what I was going to say, is what's nice about all of this is that this is all happening to us at the beginning of the season. Look, we're 5 games in. We're not even a third of the way through the season yet. If they start gelling here or here in the next couple of games and run off a few wins in a row, everything looks different. And I'd much rather be getting hot at the end of the year than getting hot at the beginning of the year. And I don't know, going 5-0 at the beginning of the year and then falling apart in the back half of the year.
Fizzling out.
And fizzling out and going to the playoffs and losing in the first game of the playoffs. Nope, done that. We did that. I don't want to do that again. I didn't like that. That was 2 years ago in the NAL, and I don't want to do that again. So if this is how it has to be, I'm glad we're doing this on the front end, and we can figure all of these things out and find our groove as we head into the back half of the season. That's best case scenario, you know?
Yep.
I don't know. I kind of feel like I do feel the players have the skill, but for some reason they're not tapping into their skill level. Like they're like almost like in slow-mo, like we're not tapping into the best part of their skill. Like maybe they're trying to do something that is not their skill set, and their skill set is not being played to the potential. I just feel like there's something off there.
They got to put it together, RC. This is what I think. I think they just need some time to put it all together. Like I said, it's almost like starting over now, and it's going to take time to mesh. And that's going to bring me to my other point. And some people are going to tell me that I'm like beating a dead horse, or I'm banging the same drum over and over again. But until that offense, especially in particular, meshes, until all of that comes together, Tina Myers, Haddad saying culture, until we get that, hit the freaking field goals. Take the points. Especially in the first half.
Where's the deuce? Deuce. I thought you were going to have a heart attack, Leo.
Oh, my God.
The deuce is clear. Let me address that really quickly, Leo, and then I'll let you get on your soapbox here. But the deuce, RC, is obviously just not Thicker Kicker's game, and that's okay. I really love, somebody just mentioned it a second ago. James Washington says he doesn't kick deuces like TC, but he has beautiful squib kicks that pin the return team behind the 20, which I prefer. It's just not apparently his game, the deuce, and that's fine. If you can pin them back deep, that's not 2 points, but it gives your defense a chance to work. I'm okay with that. Now then, Leo, we scored 28 points. You think we could have scored more points?
Absolutely, we could have scored more points.
Make your case.
Well, a little side thing that I liked that got uncovered with doing that research on the play-by-play, and I wanted to see the pressures and where they were coming from, was I got to outline every single offensive possession. We had 8 of them the entire game, 4 in each half. 4. And one of those 4 was abbreviated because it was like, with time running out and you're trying to do that. So you're not getting a lot of possessions in these games. Until you're scoring on 3 out of those 4 possessions or more than half, then I could see like, no, we're going to go for it on 4th down. We're going to go. But until you've reached that level of efficiency, and with the scores the way they are, I mean, what is it, 35-28? That's a halftime score in the prior iteration of IFL before the rule changes.
Yes.
That's a halftime score, not a final score. And you go back and look at our schedule, and these are the scores that we're getting. And we're struggling to get points on the board. So why not take the points that are there? We have what looks to be a pretty gosh darn reliable kicker. He kicks some field. Yes, he's missed some. They all miss. He missed one today that hit the wire that was called a dead ball. I know that that's something that Jamar was upset about with the officiating because the exact same thing happened last year and they called it the other way. But you got to take the points so that you put yourself in the best situation possible in that second half, especially when its possessions are so important and you're trying to one up and make it difficult for the other team to put them at a disadvantage by being up on points as well as possessions on them. And that's such a key thing. Well, the more points you can get, the better off you are. If they had gone for it on fourth down, and I know on the broadcast, I love Ralph. Ralph knows more indoor football than he's forgotten more than I know. He probably knows more than you and me to put together, Philip. I'll go as far to say that. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
You might take exception to that, but I heard him in the broadcast mentioning repeatedly the fourth down conversion rate. And he was saying, they were 2 for 3, and then let's go see if they can go 3 for 4. And I don't think they did. I think they ended up 2 for 4. But he was mentioning how they were successful on the fourth down conversions, but that's not the point. Is the fourth down conversions? The point is getting points per possession. And if you take that back and go with go with one in the first half that they didn't convert on, and take that 3 points, very makeable. I think we got to like the 10-yard line, and then one in the second where we threw a route that was way too short on 4th and 6 or something, and the pass went to Khalil Rashad for like 2 yards, and he was covered and been in the wall, turnover on downs. You kick that ball instead. That's 6. That's a 6-point differential. We're down by 7, trying to make up on that last possession that should have been a touchdown, but called back because of the ridiculous holding play. Well, then there's less than 2 minutes there. You're in position to kick a field goal that puts you in the lead. And you have that option instead of having to go for it on a desperate fourth down to try and convert or try and get a touchdown because you're down by 7 and there's less than 2 minutes left in the game. You have an opportunity to take the lead because you made that decision twice earlier in the game. These scores, the way the possessions are right now, I guarantee you were getting more than 4 possessions a half prior to this year.
Yes.
That's not happening this year. And our offense isn't what it's been in the past. You're not converting on that as far as points per possession at that high of a rate. Until you get there, take the points that are there for you. Kick the freaking field goals, please.
So you brought this up last week on our show.
Yep.
And then on Branded on Wednesday night, Jonathan Bain, quarterback's coach, offensive coach, was there with Ralph and Randy Carroll. And Ralph brought this up for you. He didn't mention Smoking Guns. He didn't mention Leo, but he did say there are some folks who would like to see us take the points when they're available. Jonathan Bain explained why they don't. And if you haven't watched that show, watch Branded. It'll do you some good it's
a great show
as a Gunslinger fan to keep in touch with the team. But if you didn't watch, Jonathan Bain's contention is that's just not how it's done in the indoor game. You don't just settle for field goals. You have to get all the points you can get. That's the way this game is played. It's different than the outdoor game. And every other year up to this year, I would agree with Jonathan Bain.
Yes.
But based on what we've seen so far this year, take the points.
Take the points.
It is different. It is different this year. It is looking more like the outdoor game. And so you may have to play the game a little more like the outdoor game. And you may have to take the points when you have the opportunity to take the points. You're right, Leo.
You have to learn to adjust. We're not adjusting.
That's true. The game has changed for whatever reason, and I think it has a lot to do with the rule changes. The game looks different, and if the game looks different, maybe we have to play the game differently. And a loss is still a loss, whether you lose by 1 point or 7 points, and I understand that. But you have options at the end of the game that you do not have. If you're down by 1 point as opposed to 7 points at the end of the game, you have given yourself options that you did not have. And that could have changed things. That could have made things different. What we did not work. So I would like to see us. Clear. Yeah, I'm with you, Leo. I understand what Jonathan is saying, and I'm not saying he's wrong. He's been around this sport a long time. My contention is the game has changed. The game is adjusting for whatever reason, and we need to make adjustments to work with that, especially right now when we're having trouble figuring out how to make the offense work. You got to take what you can get and then see if you have options at the end of the game to give yourself a win instead of a loss.
Just my opinion. I'm just a fan. But right now, I'm standing steadfast to that. I love Jonathan Bain. I love Coach Fuller. I love Ralph. I love everyone who disagrees with me. But that doesn't mean I have to agree with you, and I don't agree right now.
That's the difference between you and me, Leo. You love everyone that disagrees with you. I do not.
And you don't.
I mean, I would like to see us, get the points. That being said, I've banged this drum before, and I'm going to keep banging it. Field goals are difficult in this league for a whole host of reasons. We saw it happen to Vegas, where the snap was above where the holder thought it should be. Jerome Johnson, the starting quarterback up until this week, was the holder. The ball was above where he thought it would be. It squirted through his hands. They ended up having to just fall on it and not getting their extra point, because these long snappers and holders are not working on that, specifically that, over and over again all practice long. They are not dialing it in the way that you see other expressions of the game do it. So, James Palmer, do you think it's changing because of how the game is being played? Maybe Fuller isn't making adjustments properly, or is trying to keep it going how the game used to be played? I think the game is changing to be more like the outdoor version of the sport. I think that is something that the indoor football league wants, is to more closely resemble the outdoor game on a smaller field. And that is why you're seeing some of these rule changes and some of that kind of stuff. And if that's the case, then you have to begin to play the game a little more like the outdoor game. And I don't blame Coach Fuller or Coach Bain from going, that's just not how you do it in this version of the game. Because for years, that's been true. For years and years, that's been true. So, what? I don't know. So we have a bye week.
We do.
I would love to see us. I don't know.
Practice?
Well, no. I mean, I would love to see us make some changes along the offensive line, whether that is coaching them up a little differently, or maybe seeing if we can find other guys that can help us along the offensive line. I don't want anybody necessarily to lose their job, but if there's better out there, get better. Get better one way or the other. Change the people or change the people. And so we've got this opportunity 2 weeks. Maybe we change the people, or we change the people. Maybe we coach them up and get them playing the game better, differently, or we make a change with the people along the line. Aside from that, I don't want to see anything change. I want a bye week where we can just keep gelling, keep chemistry, work on chemistry. I want Guy to be my quarterback in Vegas in 2 weeks. I want James Fuller to be my head coach in Vegas in 2 weeks. I want to go through this bye week, and other than shoring up things along the line, I don't want any big changes. If Sam were available, he's not, give up. But if Sam were available, I wouldn't want to make that change right now. We need some calm seas for a bye week. We need everything to just be steady. We have had a lot of turbulence at the beginning of this season. And I think one thing that will help our guys out a lot is just, hey, everything's normal. There's not
continuity.
There's not a brand new coach. There's not a brand new quarterback. There's not a brand new, we didn't lose our top tackler in the middle of the week. We did not, have a guy blow out his Achilles. Like we just need calm. And I'm okay with that. I that's what I feel like we need.
I agree. Continuity. Get settled in. Get settled in your role. Work hard, and get really good at that role, because that's what we need. We need everybody to really step it up for the rest of the season, because we're 1-4, and things have to change pretty quickly.
Definitely.
It's not necessarily anybody's fault. You can point the finger at anybody. This team has gone through so much adversity so far this season, so much adjustment.
Yes.
But the only ones that are going to be able to get them over the hump is themselves, and they're going to have to just pull together. And you're not going to be able to do that by moving pieces constantly and rotating and switching.
Right.
Definitely not.
You have to change together, not change apart. I know that sounds weird, but they have to learn how to work together, how to score together, how to be more proactive together, because it seems like they're kind of playing individualized, but not as a team, not cohesive.
Right. Mm-hmm. James Palmer says, I think Guy should have been quarterback one from the get-go. I will say, I think that a lot of folks, myself included, saw the name Malik Henry pop up, know of his history, and said, ooh, shiny. And I think in hindsight, you're probably right, but I don't blame the folks that make I don't blame Tom Menas. I'll just say it. I don't blame Tom Menas from going, hey, shining. This guy is a name and is a good, solid quarterback in, historically, and shiny. I want to see what I can do with that. I don't blame them. I did the same thing. I saw it and I went, ooh, shiny. So you're probably right, but that's just in hindsight that I feel that way. Looking at the standings, we are not the bottom of the barrel.
Nope. Not there.
There is a layer of sludge between us and the bottom of the barrel that is Northern Arizona right now.
Yep. We're headed the wrong direction, but we can still right the ship. But we're not there.
Northern Arizona not won a game all season. They are down below us. Everybody else is above us in the Western Conference. But take heart, because here's the top of the Western Conference in the IFL. Arizona Rattlers, we absolutely could have beat them. Like we have played them once, and we absolutely match up fine with them. Like we can beat them.
Yes.
They are 4-0. They have not lost a game.
Ouch.
The Bay in second, Bay Area Panthers, they are 3-1. Hey, guess who that one is? In their house.
Gunslingers.
So yes, we are not in a spot we want to be in on the standings. But we are not so far out of the game that we need to just pack it up and pack it in. It's not time for that just yet.
Let me begin.
Alex McSwain says, I saw Malik kill the Gunslingers in the NFL, in the NAL, and said shiny. Tina Myers said he was good in the NAL. Yeah. David Olvera, I think we need local talent from San Antonio. That part's been forgotten. That's where the Gunslingers were formed. I will share with you, David, that I have heard directly from the Gunslingers organization that is a focus going forward, is local talent. We'll see if that plays out, but the guys that they have brought in since they told me that, Tyler Huddle, Roscoe.
Trinity. Yep.
Roscoe is Angelo State University.
And the guys they high school.
The guys they have brought in are local. So song I just said pack it up, pack it in, and everybody just went off.
Jump around.
So it's not that bad. It's not good. I'm not trying to blow sunshine up your butt here and say, hey, everything is fine. Everything is most definitely not fine.
Nope.
But it's not time to climb out on the ledge yet either and just give up.
No, I think we have all the tools in place. It's unfortunate that we're starting all over again, and we're 4 or 5 weeks into the season.
Starting all over again.
Again. Yes. Yeah. Now the biggest question mark is the O-line, in my opinion. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm hurting anybody's feelings by saying that, but I mean, I don't think anybody can deny it when you go and look at the film.
Hey, here's my thing. If you're on the O-line, or if you're one of their family members, or you're one of their friends or whatever, and you feel like we're being unfair, go watch the film. If we have hurt your feelings more than the film you're watching has hurt your feelings, that may be a personal thing. That may be you being too close to the situation personally. I'm just saying. Tina says we need DJ back and he's coming. I'm excited to see DJ come back. I know that is going to create some sort of shell game in the wide receiver core, because we have an embarrassment of riches, which is not a bad thing. But to move him in, we may have to move someone else out, and I don't know who that is, but I expect that the coaches will determine what's best for the team. And if that means they have to rotate, Austin Upshaw or, whatever, I don't know. I'm not the coach. But whatever the case may be, there's only one guy right now that I feel like has to be on there are two guys. One of them is just a personal thing for me. And I know it is for Leo as well. There are just two guys I know I feel better when they're on the active roster, and that is Naquan Murray and Kali Rashad. Like, I need those two guys to be active. The rest of them, we have to play some sort of shell game with. I get it. But those two,
Yep. And if anybody just doesn't want to go watch the film and is upset by what we're saying or doesn't see it, I'll give some of the numbers. I'll just do the first half, because I went over that with you, Philip.
Yep.
In the first half, counting every play of each individual drive. In the first drive, in 2 of the 8 plays, we had backfield pressure. We had guys in the backfield that were affecting the play. Not bad.
2 of 8. Right? That's a quarter of the time. That's not terrible.
Yep. Okay, but second drive, 3 of 6 plays. And I'm not including any plays again that resulted in a penalty and the down had to play it over.
No,
3 of 6. 3 of 6 second drive. We'll get 4 drives in the half.
Right.
Third drive, 5 of 8. 5 plays out of 8. Guys dealing with pressure in the backfield that was affecting the play.
We are officially going the wrong direction. We went from a quarter of the time to half the time to more than half the time now.
Mm-hmm. And in the final drive, the 2 of the 4 plays, because that was a play that was abbreviated because we're limited on time. But then when you take into account that the 4th play was a kick, so it's really 2 of 3.
Right.
Because the 4th one's a kick. It's not good.
Nope.
Not good. That's way too much. That's way too high of a percentage of your quarterback having to deal with guys in the backfield that he's having to evade or avoid instead of looking, going through his progressions or running whatever the play call was.
Right. You're absolutely correct. Like that, those are not numbers you want to see.
No.
Those are not the numbers you want to see. So on the field, the Gunslingers come up short. It's a bummer, but it is what it is. Now we got to swing around and talk about off the field. We got RC back, and we got to talk about the experience of the game itself. I wasn't out there. I have work to do during the game, so I don't get to walk the hallways, walk the concourse, and be down there among everybody. How were things with parking? How were things with concession? Did that stuff get cleared up?
I would definitely say parking was good. The biggest change I saw was the concession stands.
Okay.
They were quick. I went in 2 different times just to see what the difference was. Perfect. I stayed 2-3 minutes at most. I don't know if they had more people there or they knew what to do more, but it was a whole lot better. Still don't like the whole can thing. It is what it is. Jerry and I ordered this beautiful pretzel. It was huge. However, there was nothing to put the mustard in. Like, what am I supposed to dip the mustard in? You see what I mean?
You got it right there.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not. That's not ladylike, Philip. I'm not like that.
No, Jerry has bigger hands.
I may have to bring my own container. I don't know.
You shouldn't have to do that. Jerry has bigger hands. He shouldn't be the one.
Jerry's not going to get up and get his stuff. He's going to sit down there. He doesn't want to miss anything. I'm glad he's there at the game. I'm not going to encourage him to get up. No. And he doesn't like those little seats. Anyone else complain about those little seats? Or is it just him?
I don't know. Might just be. He's a bigger guy.
Can we talk about the 6-shooters?
I'm waiting. Yes, talk about the 6-shooter. I waited specifically for you to be here so that we could talk about the 6-shooters. We were going to cover that all first like we normally do, but I said let's wait till RC gets here so that she can talk about the 6-shooters. So talk about your 6-shooters.
I love them. They're so cute. And I don't know if you guys realize there were six of them, 6 shooters in that little truck. Did anybody else catch that? Now we got to work on our aim. I did see that. It was almost like my coin toss. It would go up and then straight down. Not everybody, but
it wasn't that bad.
They had better aim than I did. But I thought that was so cute. Their routine, their style. It's just, I love it. I love them every time they come out there. The entertainment was good. And then I loved Cassie's outfit. Does she not look spectacular in that outfit? No.
Who was that? I'm sorry. Say that again.
Cassie, didn't she look amazing in her outfit?
Yes.
I guess you didn't notice.
I didn't notice.
She did. I didn't notice the outfit.
But I will default to yes.
It was a beautiful outfit. I'm just saying, it was just beautiful.
She always looks on point. I just love my
6 shooters. I love that they came out in that little truck. I love that they're using the T-shirts to get more involved in the game. It was just, I really enjoyed the crowd. I loved it. I miss the games when they're not in here. I love going to the watch parties, but being at the game, it's so much fun. I thought the crowd was good. Does anyone know what number we have in attendance?
The number I heard, which is very basic, is 2,500.
Yeah. It looks.
Now that's pretty good for being the first weekend of Fiesta.
For Fiesta, yeah.
I'm not gonna throw shade at it. It looked pretty good for Fiesta. I want to just backtrack just a bit and express my enthusiasm and love for this 6-shooter 6-pack. That's the name of the truck. I thought that was freaking awesome. I loved it, RC. Yeah, it was amazing.
Lots of folks checking in.
What did it look like from up there, Philip, when they were shooting the T-shirts?
One of those shirts got about 2 rows in front of us. So, I mean, they were loading those things up and shooting them. Everybody loving the truck. The truck was pretty cool. The truck was a great touch. Missions Highlighter says the atmosphere was great. Although he heard some fans behind him complaining that the Gunslingers were only getting 5 yards at a time. They wanted to see bombs in the end zone. Unfortunately, they ended up leaving somewhere in the third quarter. You know what? You're not going to make everybody happy. You're there to win the football game ultimately. So, RC at the cheer auditions next year, you need to ask, how is your experience with a t-shirt cannon? I did like the truck, the graphics on the side of the truck. Of course, that's Jordan's work. Ralph and I were having a discussion. I hope he doesn't get mad at me for sharing this before the game. And he's like, oh, you got to go down there and look at the truck. And I mean, I can see it from where we were, but he's like, you got to go look at the graphic on the side is done in a 1940s like pinup model style, very family friendly. And I said, nothing says family friendly like pinup model.
There you go.
Those aren't words that normally layer on top of each other. But then in 2025, a pinup model is pretty tame. 1940s pinup model is pretty tame. So
the one thing I will say about those Las Vegas Nighthawks, which we never figured out what they were, their attitude was so boisterous. Whenever they would do a play, they'd run half down the field and doing all these movements. That I did not like. What I do love about the Gunslingers, that they at least always maintain their class. You know, and you can really see it when you see the Las Vegas. They were just rude, and I didn't like it at all.
Go for it, Leo.
I was maybe that more at my end, but they do one thing and they're like, anyway. Show
2
some
points.
class, Nighthawks.
Yes, 2 points I want to make. One on that, but first I'm gonna say something. I'm not usually one to throw shade, but I'm gonna throw a little bit of shade right now on the Mission Highlighters comment where the fans leaving because they wanted to see bombs to the end zone. Here's a little bit of this is out of character for me, but I just have to do it. Those fans saw more action going to the end zone in the Freeman Coliseum than they would have seen in the other professional football offering in San Antonio this past weekend. That's all I'm going to say about that. Moving on about oh man, that was so bad. It was bad. Okay, I'm done. I'm done being sad about the Brahmas. Okay, RC,
did the Brahmas play this weekend? The answer is no.
No. God. Oh, it hurts. RC, to make your point, this is my bull spit for the week. I don't want to save it to the end, though. I'm going to say it right now because we typically have more viewers at this time of the show than at the very end for the bull spit. And I got to call. I need everyone to know. I got to call this guy out, and I got to go back to my notes to make sure I get his name right. And I had it here, so I apologize for taking a little second here.
While you look, James Palmer says, got more of a game than anybody at the Alamo Dome or the arena down in Corpus. It was the best football game in South Texas all weekend.
That is true.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's no line there.
Quentin Randolph. That's the guy who in the fourth quarter caught a touchdown pass, and it looked like maybe it was the first time he ever scored in his life because he immediately went over to, and from way over there in the other end zone, I thought he went, because Robert Seco was standing right there, and I thought he went to the camera to celebrate. And I was like, a little much, but okay. And they threw the flag, and he got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Mm-hmm. But then I watched the broadcast. That guy was not taunting the camera. He sidestepped to his right, Robert Seco's left. Seco had the camera facing to the right and immediately starts making motions, waving at our 6 shooters. There's a group of 6 shooters on the left behind that end zone and a group of 6 shooters behind the right. He motions to them both and then blows them kisses. The official that was back there immediately gets between him and the 6 shooters. I don't know what he was saying, but I know the 6 shooters didn't appreciate it, because when the official threw the flag in the air, you can see one 6 shooter who's standing there looking at it, and she starts nodding in approval, like, yes, thank you for throwing that flag. What are you doing going talking trash or mocking our 6 shooters after you score a touchdown? That's garbage.
No class.
Get that out of here, man. No class whatsoever. You don't engage our cheerleaders after a score to mock them.
Leo,
Bull spit on that for sure.
Do you think maybe Quentin Richardson or Quentin? I'm sorry, I've already forgotten his name. It's not that important. Do you think Quentin Randolph was maybe just saying, "Hey, you ladies are excellent and doing a great job supporting your team. I appreciate everything that you're doing to make this a fun and entertaining game for both the fans and the players." Maybe that's all he was doing. Maybe that's.
I doubt it.
They already showed their true colors before, when they were ranting and raving and acting like a fool before.
Jay Washington, I don't think he was mocking them. He was trying to make a move on one. Well, that would make sense. I mean,
that's not the time or the place.
But not time or place. No. April just says no. April Stuping, I don't know what she's referring to. She just says no. And I think that's fitting. Yeah, come on, Quentin Randolph. You're better than that. You should be better than that. If you're not better than that, go play somewhere like Massachusetts. They love those kind of people up there. Go play for the Pirates. They love that kind of action. No, leave the cheerleaders out of it. You score on the field. I do not like, this is a trend that's happening more and more lately all across sports, not just in our league, but all across sports. Taunting fans and taunting, the cheerleaders, people that are not, like, I get it. If you make a play over another player that has been in your face or on your nerves the whole game and you end up taunting them, like, you're still going to get a flag for it and should. It's not sportsmanlike, and I get that. But I understand how you're like, finally, maybe this will shut you up. But to do that to fans and cheerleaders, come on. How thin is your skin? If you can't yell fans if you can't handle fans or cheerleaders of the other team, if that hurts your heart and ego, you're too thin-skinned to be playing professional anything, man. Gotta get a life. Dolores slapping fans. Yeah, I saw that.
That's pretty ridiculous too. Mm-hmm.
Horrible.
Mo Ferrante says, yeah, so don't smack fans. What's so funny is Puka Nakua's brother, who has had a fairly good season and could, based on his name and the decent season that he's having so far, actually get a shot in the NFL, and he has just wasted all of it. He has just screwed himself out of all of that. If you do not know what we're talking about because you're not hooked into the UFL, after the Michigan game, he plays for Michigan. Puka Nakua's brother, who is a wide receiver for the Rams, his brother is a wide receiver for the Michigan Panthers, is talking to some fans in St. Louis. It's in St. Louis, is that right?
Yes.
Was the game in St. Louis?
Yes.
And they're leaned over the rail talking at him, and he just reaches up and slaps one of them in the face. Clearly on camera. That's
assault.
All of the goodwill that you may have earned and the ability to get into the league, you have just flushed. There you go. Mo says it better than I said it, probably before I said it. He just flushed his opportunity. Come on, man. Be better. And Quentin Randolph, you be better too. Leave the cheerleaders out of it, bud.
Yeah.
Not okay.
Not cool, dude.
Not okay. Jay Washington disagreeing with me. See, I would disagree on the fans' part. The trash talk with Tulsa last season was great. Trash talk is fine back and forth, but and to be fair, look, our own players have done it. Our favorite player has done it. I will never forget the last-second catch in Albany by Kali Rashad, where he immediately turned to the crowd and quieted the crowd. immediately caught the ball and shushed the crowd. And that's what I just said you shouldn't do. So to be fair, our own guys have done these sort of things before. In any case.
But there's different levels, and they went beyond the level. That's what I'm saying. I know
that's
players get
level.
excited and they're frustrated. That's all. But I saw with Las Vegas that they just went above and beyond, not showing their class. It was just a different level.
Gotcha.
Be gentlemen.
Yeah, why not? Why not? So we have a bye week this week. We go to play Vegas in Vegas here in 2 weeks. Vegas has also a bye week. They play the Northern Arizona Regulars, so they also have a bye week. That's a joke, folks. That's a joke.
Yeah.
Northern Arizona is bad, so I said they have a bye week too. And we get back together with Vegas here in a couple of weeks. We can see what we have then. The week after that, they're back in the Alamo Dome. Not Alamo Dome. That's not where they play. They're back in the Freeman Coliseum, and they will play the San Diego Strike Force May 17th. We'll all be back together for Military Appreciation Night. I'm very excited to see what that looks like. I know that Jordan has probably already got his design put together for Military Appreciation Night. And if he wanted to leak that somewhere, it would look really good right here on the Smoking Guns podcast, whatever his designs might look like for the Military Appreciation Night. Just saying, if they're out there, you got my number. That all being said, what else experience-wise?
Well,
He just texted me. Me and said, "Do you want it?" Yes, I just told you I want it.
I can share an experience that's pretty dang cool.
Sure, go for it.
So before the game, I'm on the wall. I had a bit of a gout issue this weekend with my knee, so I literally did nothing this weekend except go to the Gunslingers game. I was not going to let my streak of attending home games, end. So I was there, went directly to where my seat was, sat on the stool on the wall, and just sat there. And Dolores went and got merch and did other things and everything. And so I'm sitting on the wall, and who's in front of me warming up and out there but Tyler Huddle. And I have not yet had a chance to talk to this guy, Thicker Kicker. So I'm like, "Hey, Tyler." He turns and looks at me. I'm like, "What's up, man? What's up, my dude?" He walks over, he smiles. He's like, "Hey, thanks for being here." I'm like, "Thank you for being here. It's great having you. We appreciate having you around and what you're doing." And he's like, "Oh man, I'm just living the dream. I'm just happy because I'm here and I'm living a dream that many other guys never get an opportunity to do." And he's like, "But I really appreciate it." And he's like, I love it." And I said, "Yeah, it's great. I like that they're looking at local talent. I know you went to Trinity. My daughter went to Trinity, so I'd heard your name around and know a little bit about you." And he's like, "Oh yeah, we just signed another guy from Trinity, also another Tiger." And I was like, "Well, that's great, man. So good luck with the game." So then after the game, this is part of the IFL experience that you don't get in other leagues. You could get to go out on the field and autograph balls and everything. I had a ball. So I was like, "You know what? I know exactly who I'm going to go up to and get to sign this ball." And I go up to him and I'm watching him as he's signing other balls. And I'm like, okay, I want to see what he does with his signature. And he's putting Tyler number 33 on all of them. I get up to him and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I was like, "I got a request, and it's fine if you don't want to." I was like, "But could you sign this one, your usual signature, and then put Thicker Kicker opposite it?" And he laughs and he goes, "Hell yeah, I'll do that, man." And I'm just gonna share that right there. This is
I love that.
This is so cool. Tyler, number 33, Thicker Kicker on this IFL ball. So this is gonna be added to my collection. And yeah, that was a really cool fan experience.
That's
Pretty awesome.
Leo, I know there have been times that we have presented something on the show, certainly one of Jordan's designs, that you have literally felt the money fly out of your wallet.
Oh, yeah.
I just got a text, and I literally felt, I don't know that this will appeal to everybody, but you need to Jordan, just go ahead and set aside a 3X on this, and I'll show everybody what I'm talking about. Immediately, as soon as I saw it, I was like, well, I've got to have that. Everybody ready?
Are they pom-poms?
No, they are not pom-poms. Goodness.
I might actually save some money for once.
Here you go. Here is the
Lolies might want some
military appreciation jersey for May 17th. Do we have a drum roll? No, we don't have a drum roll. We don't need a drum roll. Here we go.
Oh, that's
nice. Number on the front and back and camo, digi camo in it. I don't have a choice.
Does have the number on the front and back.
I don't have a choice. I have to buy this. I don't even get to look at it and be like, wow, it's really cool, but I got a bunch of those. I'll pass on this one. I did not end up getting the Fiesta jersey because while I liked it, I was like, I've got a lot of jerseys. I can wait on this. I can't do that here. These are multiple things that I absolutely love all together. Dang it, Jordan.
Yeah. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Yeah, and it's black.
Oh, it's really so cool. Good.
It is very good.
So
there
good.
Goes money.
Oh, I have to thank RC on the air too, because I got my Fiesta jersey because RC got it for me. So thank you so much, RC.
You're welcome.
Well, it's a good thing you got it when you did, because April says Fiesta's jersey sold out.
Ooh,
wow.
I'm glad. Thank you.
James Palmer confirming Fiesta jersey's pretty much gone. Maybe a few youth sizes left.
I love the rose in the middle. I love it.
Jordan says, that's not it. Jordan says, went with a more classic design on this. Less is more sometimes. I love this. I will take one.
It's great.
3X as soon as you can get it to me. I will PayPal you the money. Like, if you could ship this to me early, I would take it. I love this. I realize you probably don't even have them in yet. You've submitted your design, but they have to come in. That's usually the way it works. But I love this. Like, this is my favorite. At least for the short time until you create the next one. This one is my favorite. Holy crap, that's awesome.
It is really cool.
Love it.
I'll say I want mine in 4X, not 3X. If Jordan's taking notes and putting anything aside.
How did the 5X fit you though? Was it too
big?
The
5X no, actually it fit pretty good. Yeah, someone told me that those for some reason ran a little small, so it was actually perfect. I don't know if that's true, but that's what somebody told me. Yeah.
Alex asking if on May 17th the players will have special uniforms. I can tell you that I believe that is true, but I can also tell you that I don't think anybody will see those until they hit the field. I don't think anybody's going to get a special sneak peek of those until they hit the field. Other things coming up for May 17th. I had a whole bunch of them. Exclusive military game balls. If you're a collector of game balls, you may want to make sure you have really good seats for the May 17th game, and a flag giveaway for May 17th. So lots of stuff going on for military appreciation on the 17th. Wow. The jersey will match our military game ball, and yes, there will be a special uniform set according to Jordan Stubing.
Love it, Jordan.
And James Palmer says he already has one of those military balls.
I've seen the military balls; they're cool.
I have not seen it. I'm ready. I'm stoked. This is. I'm gonna put it back up here. I just want to look at it. I like Jordan stuff. Obviously, you see me wear it all the time here on the show, and when I'm not on the show, I wear this stuff a lot. But this is just right in my wheelhouse. I asked a couple of weeks ago for like the number on the front and the back, like a standard jersey. And then anybody that knows me, my wife doesn't understand it. I love camo specifically and digital camo even more. And this is just right in my wheelhouse.
Everyone watching right now should just send us a thumbs up in the comment if you'd rather us put the picture of the jersey instead of the Phillips tile.
Instead of Phillips. Hey, can I just replace me with the jersey?
Replace.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm already. Let's get to May 17th right now.
Let's hurry up.
Let's do it.
We need to get that win on May 17th more than anything.
Yeah, I want to get the win. I want to get a win in Vegas before that.
Yep.
Mother's Day win, and then come back on the 17th and get our win here. Jay Washington, the military jersey might just be my favorite Gunslingers jersey, and I don't even have it yet. Same. And I have a lot of them that I really like, but same. Those are awesome. James Palmer giving us the thumbs up.
I see a couple of thumbs up coming in.
Mo Ferrante also giving us the thumbs up. So, what else is there left to say? Do we want to spend any time talking about the Brahmas? No, I didn't think so. Okay.
Moving on.
Frankly, there was nothing to talk about.
It'll be a very short paragraph.
Great things about them if you want.
Yeah. And match the points.
The 3 points that they got.
That's the number of points they got.
So bad.
I don't like losing to Vegas. I think we're a better team than Vegas. We just haven't found it all. We just haven't hit our stride yet. And maybe that's a good thing. Like maybe we don't need to hit our stride just yet. Maybe we need to hit our stride a little later in the season. I'm not kidding when I say we've done this before where we've come into a season hot and then lost it by the end of the season. And we don't want to do that. Bob's in. Bob Book. What's up, Bob?
What's up?
How are things in Sharkland? Over there, they just had inside the Sharks a few minutes ago. I think he just got done with his show. So good to see you over here on Smoking Guns Podcast. We're kind of wrapping things up. Hey, since we're wrapping things up, everybody get your bull spit and bull's eye in. Your favorite thing that happened this weekend in San Antonio football and your least favorite thing that happened in San Antonio football. Bull spit, bull's eye. We'll do all those in a few minutes right as we wrap up the show. James Palmer says, we have time to correct it, but at some point we have to start winning before it's too late. He's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's right. It's getting, what is the old thing that old men say all the time in sports when things start getting out of hand? It's getting late early. As far as the season's going, it's getting late early. Like we need to be more competitive. In the standings. We're competitive on the field, but we're not converting these games into wins. We need to
that's what old men say.
It's getting late early. Yeah. You don't hear that? You don't know the right old men, I guess. Tina leaving us. Bye, guys. Bye, Tina. Good to see you tonight.
Tina. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, we need to right the ship quickly.
Yes.
I like like I said before, I like what we have in place though. I like the direction we're headed from the week prior. So let's just keep more of that. Just keep it going and really, really focus on improving the O-line play.
Yeah. I think that is the major issue right now is protection. Getting better protection.
Yep.
And that's fixable. I think that is something that is fixable one way or the other. Like I said before, change the people or change the people. Either coach them up and get them doing things a little differently or get new people if that's what it takes. I don't want to say that.
No.
I like the guys we have, but you got to perform on the field. So if you're not doing that, Bob Book says the West is still wide open.
It is.
The East is the better division right now. All right. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't know that you can make that determination just yet, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Bullspit, Bullseye. We got some of them rolling in, but I don't want to take away from you guys. I want to give you an opportunity. Leo, Bullspit, Bullseye. We already heard your Bullspit. It was Mr. Quentin, whatever his name was. Randolph.
Yeah.
Quentin Randolph. Got that.
Yeah. That guy, Bullspit on him. Bullseye. I gotta go with it. And sorry, RC, if I'm stealing this from you, but the 6-shooter 6-pack was just that awesome. It was so great. And then especially from the angle of the party zone where we're at in the end zone, with the shirts going up, it's almost like fireworks exploding in front of you, and it's just so cool. 6 shooters in the six shooters in the truck with 6 t-shirt cannons. It's just awesome. A great idea and great job out there for everyone involved. Our 6 shooters are just amazing, and this is just one more amazing thing that they'll be doing for all the fans. I loved it.
All right, RC, what is your Bullspit and Bullseye for this weekend?
I know Leo took my bullseye, but that's okay. I mean, they're just wonderful ladies, wonderful role models, talented, beautiful. So I'll keep with that. The Bullspit, I kind of mentioned it earlier. I didn't like the attitude of the Las Vegas players. They were too cocky, too boisterous, poor sportsmanship, especially at the end with the 6 shooters. So we kind of already wrapped it up on that, but I love the fans that were there. I thought we had a good crowd. So I'm excited. I'm excited that we go back to Las Vegas and we kick some butt.
Hey, we mentioned a flag giveaway at the next game, at the May 17th game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anybody interested in what that flag might end up looking like?
Heck yeah. Let's do it.
Show us.
Oh, that is cool.
Very nice.
I'm gonna ask you for a favor, Jordan. Can you take the U.S. Army banner off of that and just send me that graphic? I think it would make a really nice lock screen for my phone. Just that flag with the
everything evolves around him.
Yes, it does.
Much love.
And then there's this. I just can't get over it.
Oh, I love it.
I love it so much. Bull, Spit, and Bullseye. Let's get through some of these that have gotten sent in to us. Alex McSwain says, Bullseye. Guy trucking that DB who just bounced off him near the Gunslinger bench when he tried to tackle guy. And his Bullspit is the penalties. Jay Washington. Bullseye, the T-shirt truck. Jordan, you did an amazing. You did amazing backing the truck up. The Judson Mariachis, Guy being QB1, the Fiesta jersey, Bullspit, the BS of a missed field goal. Leo knows how mad I was with it. The lack of taking field goals and sliding after a Bay Area win. I will tell you that is the correct interpretation of the rule as written. If it hits the yellow and bounces off, it is still in play. If it hits anything else and bounces off, it is dead. If it hits the actual uprights, and I know we had this issue with the speaker last year. I'm just telling you that based on what happened on Saturday night, that is the correct interpretation of the rule. The yellow is a live ball. Anything else is dead.
I think Jay was saying that they ruled it the other way last year, though, with the wire as well.
I'm just telling you that is the correct interpretation.
Officiating being inconsistent, not surprising.
Dang, he got it to me fast. I already got it. Nice. I will be putting that on my lock screen soon. Yeah, I'll put it on the lock screen. It is gonna knock a pretty cute looking guy off my lock screen though. I got a pretty awesome little guy on my lock screen there. Up on my shoulders with my San Antonio Gunslingers hat on.
Cute. Love it.
James Palmer. Bullspit is the lost bullseye. When my picture went up on the Jumbotron for my birthday and the military guys started singing happy birthday above where I was. Yeah, happy birthday, James. We even gave you a birthday shout out on the broadcast because that's who we are and that's who you are. We're very glad that you're a part of this fandom with us. We really appreciate everything that you are and do. My bullspit,
Thank you, James.
My bullspit for the week is going to be 5 officials missing a no-brainer call. It didn't mean the difference in the game. It is not the end of the world, but there is no reason 5 officials should miss that penalty. None. You cannot convince me that is okay. I know they're just human. I understand that. I know that they miss calls sometimes. I understand that. That is not a call that you can just miss. It's just not. There is no way you're catching twitches of offensive linemen to give us to give anybody a false start penalty, but you're missing a guy running full speed at the line that shouldn't be. Can't happen.
Yep.
Cannot happen. Philip, I think this is the perfect name for the refs. What, 5 blind mice? 3 blind mice? 5 blind mice?
That works.
My bull's eye. Best thing to happen in San Antonio pro football this weekend. My bullseye.
There you go.
That just happened.
It did.
It replaced whatever your previous bullseye was.
It sure did.
That's how awesome they are.
I love this jersey. I'm so excited. Tina says, bullseye every time you and Ralph saying that guy is slim and powerful. I believe my long, lanky, and powerful was my thing. I said it once, and then right after I said it, he ran basically over somebody again, and so I said it again, and then it just kind of became a thing at that point. That was a lot of fun. Alex McSwain has another bull spit. No game this weekend, but hopefully it can be used to right the ship, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Bye weeks are great for the team, but what am I going to do with my weekend now? Like hang out with my family and spend time with my grandson? Wait, what is this? Wouldn't it be this week's? Hey, whatever I had in the bank, the jersey topped it. Okay, it counts. I'm counting it. I get to decide what my bullseye is, not you, sir. What else? Any other bullseye out there? Get them in right quick. But while we wait on those, what do you got?
I have a bull spit, but it's not Gunslingers or San Antonio football related.
Okay.
That's something I wanted to bring up while we get some of those in.
All right.
So at the we're NFL football fans, right? And the NFL draft just happened. And I was very curious. I always like watching the draft. So I had the draft on. I wasn't necessarily watching the television more than listening to it as it began. And this guy came on and sang the national anthem, a very, very unique rendition of the national anthem.
Okay.
And I was listening to it from around the corner, and I was like, they got Eddie Vedder to sing the national anthem? What? Like, because he sounded a lot like Eddie Vedder. If you, those of you that don't know who Eddie Vedder is, he's the lead singer from Pearl Jam.
Right.
90s alternative band. So I turned the corner, and it's definitely not Eddie Vedder. I'm like, who is this guy? Yeah, this guy's like it's just a very, very unique rendition, different, but very well done of the national anthem. Yes, Jordan Stubing, Steven Wilson Jr. So I go and I look at him up, and to my dismay, displeasure, and people were already dogging him on the social medias, like saying, one, why do they have to play the national anthem at the draft? This is ridiculous. Christopher Wilson Jr., who the heck is that? Who cares? It was like all over. And I'm like, did you not, one, if they want to play the national anthem at an event like the NFL draft, I don't see any reason why not. I think that's great. Two, did you not listen and appreciate an artist? So I looked the guy up. Go look him up. If you don't know who this guy is, Christopher Wilson Jr., he's amazing. Like he's an up and comer. He's got a following. He's not like he's a no-name nobody, but like he's got some very, very interesting music. His last album, it's dedicated to his father. There's some songs in there that really will pull at your heartstrings because he's dedicated to his dad and the relationship he had with him that he didn't really have with him his whole life. Things changed over time. And it's just a great story, and he's a great artist and makes great music. Go check him out. But that was my bullspit, was the initial reaction. I mean, I understand the turmoil that the country is going through right now and the difference in opinion and everything, but you don't have to dog someone just because you're like, oh, why do they got to play the national anthem?
Right.
I'm done with that. Sorry.
I agree. 100% agree. Look, nobody says we all have to agree. Not required. Shouldn't be required. Should never be required. We all get to have our own opinions, but that means we all get to have our own opinions. And when you say things like, why do they even play the national anthem? Because there's value in it for them. Nobody's making you do anything. It's fine. You don't have to engage, but you don't have to engage. It goes both ways. Anyway, Mo had a bullseye. Wait, let me find it. I got to find it.
I can read it if you want. Well, actually,
there it is.
I lost it. Okay.
Bullspit. Got my neighbors to check out a Brahmas game and they never got in the end zone. Ouch. Bullseye. Enjoyed that close Gunslingers game. Can't wait to see them May 17th. Yeah, get your neighbors to come check out a Gunslinger game. You might not be, you won't be embarrassed in the same way that I think you were. Jordan Stubing, his bullseye. Alex McSwain going to the Brahmas game in a Gunslinger jersey. Alex says, I just answered Philip's challenge from the last show.
Love that.
Saw that, appreciate that, and noticed that you immediately got somebody from the Brahmas side of things that said, okay, now go the other way. Now you wear a Brahmas shirt to the Gunslingers game. Okay. No problem. I don't think anybody on
smoking guns.
I don't think anybody on the Gunslingers side has any problem. I saw some Brahmas stuff at the Gunslingers game. Nobody has an issue with that. I don't know why this is a thing. I don't understand this. I just do not understand this. I am perfectly happy when I see Brahmas stuff at Gunslingers games. I think that's good. And I think cross-pollination between the football fandoms is a good thing. We should support both. I don't understand why this is a thing. Did you get any other flack, Alex, out of curiosity? While we wait for him to answer that, I need to tell you that the Smoking Guns podcast is brought to you by some amazing patrons. They take care of us and help us make the show go. They are Alfred Rodriguez, who has been checking in with us all night as the missions highlighter. James Palmer, Jay Washington, Jordan Stubing, James Stubing, Kim and Greg Nelson, Mo and Iris Ferrante. And you can be on that list too. If you would like to help us make the show go to patreon.com/Smoking Guns Podcast. That's Smoking No G, Guns with a Z, POD. And you can sign up at a $5, $10, or $20 a month level just to help us pay the bills, make this thing go. And then we get a little bit of leftover money each month. And we bank all of that so that we can send kids to football camp in the summer, so that we can send some young ladies to cheer camp with the 6-shooters in the summer. And that's what we use that extra money for, community outreach and involvement. If you'd be interested in being a part of this, our bills are going up just like everybody's. And so we can always use just a little more. We don't need everybody to go be a patron, but it helps us bank money a little faster if you would go and be a Patreon at the $5, $10, or $20 level, like those folks that I just read off. Jay Washington says, I appreciate y'all saying I'm a patron, but it's really the cowbell. Well, we appreciate the cowbell being a patron and helping us make this show go.
Yes, we definitely appreciate all of you guys.
Jordan Stubing says, about to design superhero jerseys. Any suggestions? I think you're going to hear Batman really fast.
Batman.
That would be my wish. That would be on my wish list. James Palmer says Batman. I told you it was coming.
There is a, for the real comic geeks like me,
yeah,
there is a, most people have heard of Spawn, but there's different variations of Spawn. There is a Gunslinger Spawn. That's his name, Gunslinger Spawn, and he is a gunslinger.
Wonder
so,
Woman's a good one.
Well, Wonder Woman, yeah, for sure.
Thanks for loading.
Says he's leaning toward DC this year. He did do Marvel last year. Leaning toward DC this year. Well, Batman and Wonder Woman are right there in those.
Mm-hmm.
Right there in those. James Palmer would also be okay with a Joker.
You know what?
Wouldn't it be great to have Wonder Woman in a 6-shooter outfit?
That would be pretty awesome. Like a mashup. But yeah, I would go for a villain series of jerseys.
Right?
Like they mentioned the Joker. That
Riddler,
would be cool.
Joker, Bane.
Yeah,
because we have a coach named Bane. You see, that's what I'm doing there. You see what I'm doing there? We have a coach named Bane and
Bane. Yeah, that's true. Eric Killmonger.
You have adopted the indoor game.
Alex McSwain says there's a new Superman movie coming out in July. Perhaps that could draw an inspiration. You know, that brings up, that's a movie that I definitely want to see. But that brings up a good point where I thought about a market that the Gunslingers haven't targeted is kind of like the geek kind of community, like myself included. There's a lot of sports fans in that community. I run into them. I go to some of these Comic Cons and stuff like that, and that'd be kind of cool. Maybe a Gunslingers booth at a Comic Con or at a movie theater, like when they're doing a Superman release.
Do they still do Comic Cons down there at whatever it is now, Wonderland of the Americas or Crossroads
on
or
the
whatever?
Weekends.
Yeah,
they do on certain weekends. They have their big sales down there where they have like Comic Con and booths and stuff. And there's a whole group of people out there that aren't so invested in the local sports, but they're sports fans. And if you give them something to be entertained with or to look at something new, they'll be interested.
Mm-hmm. 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 There you go. A new market that we can tap into as San Antonio Gunslingers. Jump all over that. We always need new people. What else do we need to cover?
I have a suggestion.
Go for
Jordan, since he's here. And I'm terrible right now because I actually don't have it on, but another thing for marketing and merch, silicone rings. You know, I have a Denver Broncos silicone ring. Lolis and I both wear one as our wedding band. A Gunslinger silicone ring would be pretty freaking sick. Let me tell you, I would be all over that. That might be something to look into.
There you go, Jordan.
Really
another idea. And Mo's on board immediately. Alex McSwain says, I'm a geek. I might miss a Gunslingers game for anime night at the missions. Don't know how I feel about that, Alex. No. Do you, man? Do you? If that's your thing, do it. I get so tired of gatekeepers that are like, oh, you're not a real Gunslingers fan then if you're not going to every single game. Right, Leo? Isn't that how you feel about all of us that haven't been to every single game? We're not real.
You're not real fans.
Yeah, we're not real fans, huh?
Ooh, yeah.
No, I get so tired of gatekeepers, and I would, if that's you, man, if that night that's your decision,
something else to
do it. Go enjoy that. I know you're going to be checking in on the game. You're going to watch the broadcast on your IFL network season pass that you have.
On your Roku?
Yeah, not on your Roku because they still ain't figured that crap out yet. Sad.
Too funny.
Sad. James Palmer says, just make sure you wear a Gunslinger jersey to it. And Alex McSwain will do that. He says he will do that. So with all that being said, we get a week off. You don't have to worry about it this week. We're not going to lose this week. We're not going to win this week. We get a week off and then on to Vegas where we take on the same Nighthawks all over again and show them how we really do it. David Olvera saying, last thing I'll say tonight, I know a guy who'd be happy to work with Coach Bain and make the Gunslingers a winner they need to be next year or even this year. He's won for the Gunslingers before. There you go. There's an option.
Sounds like an invite.
Alex McSwain will wear his Gunslinger baseball jersey to the missions game. That sounds like a great matchup there. Well, when it comes to the best indoor experience, you're not going to find it in Las Vegas. You can find a lot of things in Las Vegas, but not the best indoor football experience. It's not down in Jacksonville, although we love those guys, and we're glad that they made the jump with us from the NAL to the IFL. It's not up in Tulsa. It's not over in San Diego. If you're looking for the best indoor football experience, the 210 has got something to say.
Bang, bang.
All right. Thank you so much for you guys that are still hanging on with us. Please make sure you download the episode, like, rate, and review anywhere you can, and help us get more eyeballs on the show, which gets more eyeballs onto the Gunslingers. We need it. They need it. The more we can get in front of, the more folks we get, we convert into fans, and that's important. David says, good show tonight. It's good seeing you, David.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. Been a while.
Glad to see you hanging out there. And, who knows? Who knows what the future holds? Maybe that time is coming back up, creeping back up, that you get to don the red, white, and blue again. Who knows? Who knows how that stuff works out?
Did you see Mo's question a little while ago? I know we're done with the show, but it's an interesting question. I think we can kind of talk about. I already answered. I hate that it overlaps because it was something I was interested in attending and seeing, but it pretty much overlaps almost every single game except for one. But the key thing is if those games happen, which I'm not so sure about right now. That's the thing.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure what she was talking about until I stopped down now and thought about what the IFA is. I don't believe those games will ever happen. I could be wrong.
They're going up against a lot right now. I mean,
but
they've lost teams. Yeah,
they've lost teams. The league itself is rumored to be falling apart. By RC. And aside from all of that, Bo, that means you have to get an entire football team of guys across the border because half these teams are in Mexico and half these teams are in the U.S. And I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying I agree or don't agree. I'm just saying given the climate of things at the border right now, I think they're going to run into real issues getting full football teams of guys back and forth across the U.S.-Mexico border right now. I think they through no fault of their own, chose a really bad time to try to put this thing together. And I think it's going to end up affecting them even more than they thought, just because of where we are right now. I don't really think that thing has legs. And that was one of the big reasons that we're not covering it this year. It's because we just didn't see. I saw a lot of red flags, a lot of them.
Yeah,
So,
it's tough. I won't be surprised if they try again, another iteration. If they try again, because there's some people involved in this that are really passionate and have the best intentions in what they're trying to do. Yeah. But it's just really, it's something that's really hard to do. Yeah. And there's just been a lot of things that they've been going up against that we've seen and recognize the red flags in the past that Philip's talking about, and we've talked about offline, the two of us, and we're just a little hesitant to actually, be confident in that this thing is actually going to happen. I would love to go attend a game for sure, but I'm not going to go if it's at the same time as a Gunslingers game. I just can't. I can't do that.
Nope. Well, thanks so much for checking in with us. Please make sure you download the episode when it hits tomorrow, and continue to share out the show, like us, rate us, review us, and keep in touch with us. We got another bye week, which is tough. It feels a little start and stoppy this year here at the beginning of the year. It feels like we can't really gain any momentum, but I promise once we get to May, we've got multiple games in May that are all home games. So there's a chance to really build some momentum both on the field and maybe off the field with fans. I'd sure like to see that happen. I know that the Gunslingers organization would like to see that happen too. So thanks for hanging out with us. Continue to share, like, review, and keep in touch. We love talking about this stuff all week long. We get text messages from so many of you throughout the week discussing these issues, these things that happen around our team. And we love it. I love it. I think Leo does too. Yeah. I know RC will take any opportunity she can to talk about the Gunslingers. So hockey jersey night, Friday night at the Missions. What am I doing Friday? What am I doing Friday? I think I'm going to a Missions game.
Nice.
Speaking of hockey, I got a Stars game I got to go watch. Go Stars, man. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will see you
everybody
next week, if not before.